Press Start Podcast.
And welcome back to the Press Start Podcast. This is episode number 88. I'm your host Vic, aka Mr. Never Chillin', and of course I'm joined by my co-host Scobie One,
Welcome, everybody.
and of course I'm joined by my other co-host Lunatic Oblivion.
Hey, happy Sunday, guys. How you doing today?
And we are back, man. So what's new with you guys before we dive into what we've been playing?
Dude, I'm burning through the games this year. I told you, one game a week. I'm catching back up, dude.
Yeah.
This week was the week. I got 4 games done this week.
Damn. What about you, Scott? Anything new?
Man, no, it has been nothing but touching grass for me all week. It has been both gratifying and god awful at the same time. Lots of a little bit of manual labor there. Not really too much time for video games, but man, once that seasonal depression hits, you guys are in for it.
Yeah, I hear that. So let's move on here to our currently played games.
You got for us, Roger?
All right, so right after we finished the podcast last week, I jumped into Resident Evil 4. I beat that, and then right after that, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, I beat Loot Hero. Then today I beat Yoshi's Crafted World, and then yesterday I think it was I beat Fire Emblem Three Hopes. I'm just like shooting through games, dude.
Yeah, man, you got to play catch up because last year you smoked me, but right now I have a lead. I think I'm up to I think we talked before the show. I'm at 15, and
You
you're
got
at
me
you're
by 4.
and
No,
you're
wait, is
3.
it 3 now?
Yeah, 3.
Yeah,
I'm at
3.
15. You're at 12. And the only reason I'm at 15 is I've just beat 2 games since the last episode that we talked about.
And if anybody wants to know, I've had one so far this year, and that was Resident Evil 1.
One's better than 0. Okay?
Right.
You could
It is better than
literally
0. It's about to start pumping up here with the next few months, but Roger, when you beat the Resident Evil 4, did you go like those last 3 chapters quick rapid fire, or when you got off last week, was it just like one chapter, half a chapter?
I was like rushing to beat the chapter, the game before the podcast last week, and I couldn't get it done. I'm like sitting there 10 minutes before the podcast, and I'm like, fuck, this boss fight needs to end now. Like I'm sitting there fighting in the little circular area right outside the keep, and I'm just fighting the guy with knife hands, and I was like, please just die so I can maybe beat the game. And I was like, he's not the final boss. And then I was like, wait, I didn't hit the lab yet.
Oh, are you talking about Krauser?
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh man, that was so rough.
And then like after that I go into the lab and I was like, it's too late for this, dude. I am not gonna sleep tonight.
It's like, oh good, I beat him. Now I can finally get up the hill to the lab to the final fight.
Yeah, and the dude's in the fucking lab. Like I'm walking around and it's fucking dark as shit, and I'm like, fuck. And the guy's like writing a report and he's like, I created a creature that has 3 hearts, and if you don't kill all 3, it comes back. And I was like, what? Huh? So you come in and you're like, I guess I'm gonna die. Cool. All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Did you get the biosensor?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, you have to like get the
Yeah, there's no other
biosensor.
choice.
If you don't get it, like you're just gonna run out of ammo.
I spent half my time in that on those chapters, like going between my SMG and then stopping, taking it off, attaching it to my rifle, and then just going again.
Yeah, dude, I was like, this is insane. And like one of the last fights, like you're in the fucking cold storage, and there's like 5 or 6 of them in there, and I was like, I got no ammo now.
Are you
So
talking about
I'm
when
like,
they're hanging from the
Yeah.
bags?
Yeah, I literally
Oh my
stunned
God.
one. I'm like opening the door, and I just ran past him. I'm like, fuck this, I ain't killing him.
My girlfriend came up and she's like, "Are you all right?" Because I was like, ah! I'm like no, like screaming.
Yeah, that game was honestly one of my favorites. Like for it being a remake, honestly, it's game of the year kind of level for me. Like it was a perfect remake to a good game.
I haven't played Resident Evil 4 yet, but a lot of bad news has been coming out of it as of lately because they added a microtransaction shop to Resident Evil 4, and I was just like, What?
Already beat it. Don't give a shit.
Like
Yep,
why
same.
did they add that to the game? And they're like really confused because like Capcom isn't known to pull an Ubisoft move or an EA
Yep.
move, honestly. And it was really funny because when Dead Space came out, the remake that didn't have a microtransaction shop. I mean, you could have made one if you really wanted to, but like EA understands they've learned from their mistakes. Get hence Battlefront 2. But I was really surprised to see our Resident Evil 4 get a microtransaction shop. It seems like a game that doesn't need it.
Yeah.
They
It's
were
like
like, this
Watch
made us a
Dogs.
lot
Like
of
you
money.
don't need that shit.
They were like, this made us a lot of money. What if it made us more?
Just just a little bit more. Yeah, it's called greed.
Just
But
a smidge more.
but
Like, need about 350.
right. So I just want to cover my two games that I beat this week was Unravel 2, which was a really fun indie game where it's actually made by EA, and it was really fun playing those Yarn. And because I beat the first one, that was my first game that I beat this year, and then beat Unravel 2 was different because you had to balance the two different characters now, where you could technically play co-op if you wanted to, but I beat it by myself, so you had to just keep going back and forth. But to me, it made it solving the puzzles a lot easier. Like I feel like I got through that game much quicker, as opposed to the first one. I felt like the first one I kept getting stumped. Like what the fuck do I do here? This one it's like nope, I understand what I'm doing. Do on to the next. But overall it was a beautiful story and stuff like that. You're basically like saving these two kids that are being attacked by these monsters, and then at the end you're also like saving this like lighthouse that's been dormant for so long, and you relight the light in there, and then it like saves the ships that are lost at sea and stuff. So really interesting story there. But the other one I played was Midnight Fight Express that I just beat this morning, and not a game that I would have been like, yeah, I'm so excited to dive into this. But after beating Unravel 2, I was like, what do I play next? And Lauren was oversent with me watching me play, and she was like, here, I'll pick your next game. And she's going through Game Pass, and she was like, well, how about this one? And lands on Midnight Fight Express. I was like, I thought about it, but I was like, I don't know if I really want to. And then, boom, download it, play it, and I was like, damn, I'm hooked. Like, this shit's crazy. And I was like, in describing it here on Steam, it's a modern beat 'em up with an extensive motion capture animation that brings phonetic combat to life with wince-inducing satisfaction, and it's really crazy. Like you're really just mashing buttons. I almost feel like I'm playing Batman, Arkham Knight, like when you're just rapidly pressing and doing combos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you can pick up different weapons, whether it's fucking wrenches or axes or throwing bottles or knives and guns in the few like towards the later in the game. And it's a really crazy ass game because I'm not going to spoil it, but you play as like this sleeper agent that gets woken up by this drone saying, "Hey, the world's going to shit. The government needs you, blah blah blah." And you find out like the story is way crazier by the time you get to the end of it. So I definitely recommend checking it out. I gave it an 8 out of 10 personally, but it has a 9 out of 10 here on Steam, and it got a 93% on Google, and it's a 76% though on Open Critic. So definitely all over the place there with the reviews. But enough of me, Scott. How about your games this week? Which one have you been playing the most, Hogwarts Legacy or Fallen Order?
Uh,
Neither.
no, so I've been I've no I so I've been more on the Modern Warfare 2 Warzone, getting ready for this upcoming weekend, trying to see about that World Series of Warzone, just for a minute, just to see how it feels. But Fallen Order has definitely, obviously, we've talked about this last week, going to take a lot of my plate. It started to later this week, and it's going to this week. That's going to be my numero uno. And then Hogwarts Legacy, I've been, once again, just pushing through. I'm planning on beating both of those by the end of the week, next week and a half. So we will see Fallen Order beaten by the next episode. However, Hogwarts Legacy, yet to be seen. But those have, once again, just been my three that I've been pressing on. Like I said, I've been touching a lot of grass lately. Mushroom soil and black mulch today and yesterday more. But it's been Fallen Order. Can't wait for this week.
Yes.
It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
But other than that, you and I have been hopping on Modern Warfare 2. We've been playing some Warzone, catching some dubs, and getting our asses kicked.
Just a little bit.
Usual. Just a little bit. Just about a half a cup.
Yeah.
Big cup though.
Yeah,
It's massive.
It's a half a big cup.
Only half of it. Half of a very big cup.
My
Right.
man's over here talking about the big glug at fucking Turkey Hill like it's just a small cup.
Oh
Yeah.
man, it's the big gulp for sure. What was it? It was last night or was it a Friday night that we just got
Yeah, 2
shit
nights ago,
canned
yeah.
fucking hard.
Yeah, we had no luck, man. No matter what we did, hopping in, we're getting annihilated immediately.
every time we're like, oh no, this will be good. This will be a good
Oh,
drop.
Yeah,
Oh no, this will be good. This will be great.
and then
Every time it's not. Every time it's.
I just wanted to cover my last game real quick here. Legend of Zelda, I played a little bit, not much to really go on there, but I played through a little bit more of Mighty Doom. I wanted to give an update on that. I finally did get past that first boss at level 10, and like the first chapter, I guess, is consistent of 40 levels. So you go through 4 bosses, and they like increasingly get harder and stuff like that, and it was pretty cool. And then you can like upgrade your Doom character, your suit, add new equipment, upgrade your weapons, and it's just a game that's going to get really, really, really repetitive. I don't see myself really playing it all that much, but I just wanted to see how that gameplay loop really turned out to be. But overall, it is an enjoyable mobile game, honestly.
You wanted to be able to officially critique,
Yeah.
mobile games, and this is supposed to be one of the big mobile games of the year, right?
Hmm.
We have more coming out here soon that honestly is going to give it a run for its money, especially what releases the day before Survivor. But
Right.
we'll get to that in a minute. Like, yeah,
It's a
I
proper
understand that.
pooper. It is. It's a proper pooper.
So
You don't play card games, so like mobile games for you are you gotta have something that's at least
yeah, it's gonna hold
enjoy
my
it.
attention. Yeah, like when I talked about how I downloaded and played Vampire Survivors on my phone, like that was enjoyable just because I enjoyed the
Mhm.
experience on console. I was able to take that on the go because it really seemed like more of a mobile game anyway. Because it was funny. I was listening to a podcast today, and the guy he was like, I finally played Vampire Survivors. I was trying to see what all the hype was about. And he was like, bro, like this console game, all you use is the joystick and that's it. Like there's literally no other buttons that you push. He was like, that's a really lazy ass game. Like how is this game an S tier game? And I was just like, he low key has a point. He low key has a point. Like there's not much to the game, but it works, and it is
Well,
enjoyable.
let me just follow up with that then. How do we get away with idle games being a thing?
Yeah,
How is Angry Birds a game then? All you do is that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
How is Candy Crush number one? Let's
you're just
let's
like, click.
just stop for a moment and think that the dude just oversimplified a game. Like that's
Yeah.
all I'm saying.
No,
Dude
yeah, I
has
get it.
no
But if
realized-
it's simple and it plays,
Yeah.
that's gonna
and
make
that's
an
the thing.
S tier game.
And not only that, it had complexity and depth because it wasn't just like you're sitting there playing the same game loop over and over again. You had a formula and like you're making a cake and you can change the ingredients every playthrough and
Yeah.
get a different cake.
Right. It's the he's like it's that unlocked dopamine that you get because like that game is heavy on unlocks and
for
the
sure.
achievements and stuff like that. You're pinging achievement like every 3 seconds. You're like knew this, and obviously you're getting like 5 gamer score, and it's like ding, 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 and it's like, ooh, got to play more gamer score, more like that. That's really what that game is really built off of. But he said he gave it like it was an A tier game, so right below an S tier. It wasn't like game of the year, but everyone has they're entitled to their own opinion. I think it's a S tier game, my opinion as well. It was really enjoyable. But enough of what we've been playing and stuff like that. Let's move on to what's the upcoming releases here.
All right.
Hold on.
We've got
All right, Roger. So what's going on here with this week?
Man, I forgot we were even. I'm the one who's like suggested that we have cut transitions between topics, and I'm over here like, let me talk real quick.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to see if I can fucking drown out both Scott's audio in the first time I did it, and then drown out your audio too in the second one. Like, what the fuck are these guys
we've
doing?
got Yeah, right.
That's the wonderful thing about being live. If you subscribe to us and you watch this live, you get to see all of these bloopers real time.
Real time.
Yeah, right.
All right, boys. So we've got a bunch of games coming out this week, and really only two that I think are two or three that are the real winners of this week. But we've got After Image. This is a game coming out for 5 XS4, 1 Switch and PC on the 25th. We have Strayed Lights. Strayed Lights is coming out for all the same consoles as well. We've got Desta, The Memories Between. This comes out for only Switch and PC on the 26th. We've got Bramble, The Mountain King. This comes out for 5 XNS, 4, 1 Switch, and PC. We've got Kizuna AI, Touch the Beat. This is for 4 Switch, VR, the PlayStation VR, and PC.
Comment real quick
We've
on
got-
that one. It's interesting that it's the
Yeah.
PSVR and not the PSVR 2. Just
Mhm.
saying. I mean, I can say what the PS4, not the
Yeah.
PS5 as well.
Well,
But
I think there's more people that still own the PSVR instead of the the VRP.
you got it.
I mean,
And the thing is, what you're missing here is it already came out on the VR too.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense
That's
then.
why. This came out for the
Wow.
Quest
Get
3
called out,
years
guys.
ago, but it only came out in February for the 5 and
Oh,
VR2.
okay, I see it now. Yep,
This is
that
now
makes
getting a
sense.
release for every other console.
And you can also watch us get called out real
Yeah.
time if you subscribe.
Yeah. And then after that, on the 27th, we've got Lego Brick Tales getting the iOS Android. Talking about mobile games, it's interesting to see this game now hitting
Right, because I
the
remember when we
mobile
talked
market.
about this when it came on the console that I was looking forward to playing, and I have not played it yet. But I'm still not going to play this mobile. This is going to be a console game.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how well how well it runs. It could be something for me on, like, I'd rather play it on the Switch, to be honest, than to play it on the iOS or the Android.
Right, and it
But
is on the Switch, so you can definitely check it out
yeah,
there.
exactly. But next up, we've got one of the real winners this week. A game that did really well is Live Alive. Live Alive is now getting its port, so it originally released on just the Switch. We are now seeing the port to the rest of the Japanese market as well as the PC. So if you did not have a Switch, you now get the chance to play one of these sort of. It became a really sensational Square Enix RPG. Plays similar to, I'd say, like in the vein of Octopath Traveler and stuff like that. So this is a very interesting game, but now you can play it on your actual PS5, PS4, and PC consoles. After that, we've got Omega Strikers hitting the Switch. We've got The Last Case of Benedict Fox, and then we've got Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. That comes out for the PS5, Xbox X and S, PS4, and Xbox One. So this is a game that hit Switch and PC June of last year. So 1 year, almost 1 year to the day, we're looking at getting the PlayStation 5, X and S, 4, and 1 ports.
I'm curious because that's
So,
that's technically DLC, and it's coming a
yes.
whole year later. I've never really seen that too
So
often.
I think it's that sort of timed exclusivity that helps keep Nintendo Switch ahead, just like PS5 is trying to do with all their stuff.
Hmm.
Next up, we've got the last up, I should say. The crown of this week is April 28th. We've got Star Wars Jedi Survivor, next gen only.
Thank you. Yeah,
Check
it's
it.
Good.
it's already pre-ordered. It's ready to go, ready to be pre-installed here on I think Tuesday is what we I think said. Really looking forward to that one there. But other one here on the list I'm really excited for is The Last Case of Benedict Fox, Game Pass day one, and it's one of these like side-scrolling games. You're kind of like being a detective, but it's like kind of like a platformer as well. It graphically, the art style looks really beautiful, and it's definitely going to be a game that I beat sometime in May for sure. But what about you, Roger? Which one are you most excited for here on the list?
Honestly, it's Jedi. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but I am super excited to actually play this. I really loved the last one. I thought it was an excellent game, and I'm excited to see this next one.
What about you, Scott?
Well, obviously, you have to give it up for the biggest one here, which is Lego Brick Tales. I mean, the iOS, the Android. I mean, obviously, I spend a lot of time, just sitting on the pooper. It's gonna go to Lego Brick Tales. But seriously, it's Survivor. It's
Yeah.
Survivor. It's gonna be Survivor. It will always be Survivor. It's gonna be Survivor next week, the week following, 2 weeks from now. It's gonna be Survivor. I feel really bad for a lot of games that have to go up against this week.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the next 3 weeks are going to be insane. We got Survivor, and then we got Redfall, and then we got Diablo 4, I think it is, or Final Fantasy 16, I think it is, that comes out after that. So there's going to be crazy releases over the next couple,
Oh,
I'm
and
couple of
lighting my
days.
wallet on fire, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these next couple months are just gonna be hurting.
My
For
backlog is
anybody
hurting.
who wants to see the sunlight or make sure that they have some money lining their pockets, because this is just gonna drain all of that.
Yeah, as many games that can come to Game Pass, please do so. You help me out a big time. But yeah, do you guys want to talk about any of the game releases? I just want to make a comment before you guys do. Is that it seems like the JRP style games are going to have a really big week this week. Honestly, that's what I see here. Most of these are like a JRPG style or like the art
It
style.
does seem that way for
I,
sure.
I,
Yeah, especially with Sunbreak coming to the 5, the XS, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. Like, finally getting that extra piece of like, player base is going to be big for them. So hopefully that's a nice successful launch. I mean, they've already had a year to do it, so
Honestly, I gotta say, I don't feel like it's the week of JRPG. I think it's the week of the indie style developer. Games that are meant to look new, unique, interesting. Because for many years we had the same sort of first person shooter, third person shooter style, like realistic looking, suspenseful thriller shooters. And like that's what the 2010s were, for the much of the 2010s. Now we're kind of looking at, it's the time for anyone to be a developer, the any developer, if you will. And so like we've got things like Strayed Lights. This isn't a JRPG and this looks fantastic. Like this is probably one of my second games here. I think we saw this at the Game Awards last year. This is something that just looked really interesting to me. Also, the fact that like we're getting some games that are just like timed releases, things that come later, like Monster Hunter Rise. It's already been out for a while, almost a whole year now, and so we're only just seeing it on the other consoles. I don't know if it's really their day in the light. Same with Live Alive. I don't really think many people are going to pick it up because the true fans have already gotten it on the Switch.
Couldn't say it any better. So let's move on here to our industry news here. So, of course, we got our Microsoft Activision Blizzard update. Another country has finally approved this deal with South Africa. Competitors regulator, the Competition Commission, has now approved the deal. It has joined Japan, Brazil, Chile, Serbia, Saudi Arabia as an unconditionally approving of the company's takeover of Activision Blizzard. So, I mean, we still got a little bit to go. Obviously, we're waiting on a couple more regulators to make their decision, but just another one added to the list of approving it. The only ones that are really against it right now is still Sony. So we'll see how that goes. Scott, there was an update with Dark and Darker. What's going on over there?
yeah, there was.
You're muted, my friend.
So what's happening is because I'm sitting over here on the itinerary, and when I hit my push to talk button, it's pressing just on that. So I'm over here like moving around, and then all of a sudden I go to talk, and it's like, well, not talking anymore, am I? so, so Dark and Darker has put out torrents for their last playtest for fans to download the game. So they're putting everything out in a torrent because it's not available on Steam. They're still dealing with the DMCA. They're still dealing with the cease and desist. But if you are a fan of Dark and Darker, you can go ahead and do a nice little Google search. I did it earlier, where you can download the Dark and Darker torrent, figure out where it's at. Not going to give any particulars because, but they've been putting that out as a torrent for people to still download. Hopefully that's going to help them engage a better player base, how many people are that interested in this game, and what kind of like foundation they have to go off of. But that's what you can find for Dark and Darker right now, still trying to see what's going on with that legal battle that they've been facing for the past month or so.
Right. It's an interesting take on releasing the game as a torrent. Like, torrents aren't as big as they used to, I would say, and it was funny. Like, hey, this is our workaround until we figure out this legal dispute. So, Roger, what's going on with Sega here? I know this is kind of really just an update of what we talked about last week.
Yeah, so we talked about last week that Sega has officially purchased Rovio Entertainment. They bought them for 306 million euros. This is the creator of the Angry Birds series. So are we looking at maybe something new coming out of here, or are they just looking to try to make their money off of honestly an older dead game maybe?
Right, and it was a 706. He missed it by a 4 there, but
Oh.
I'm really curious to see if some crossovers that we could potentially see. Obviously, the leaks and some of the fan art, but they were putting Sonic with the Angry Birds. They can have their multiverse. That'd be pretty interesting. Obviously, there's the Angry Birds movie, the Sonic movies. Come on, guys, it only makes sense. Do it.
When do we go too far with
Never.
extended universes?
Just Fortnite alone. Fortnite's the bar. Fortnite has done everything. There is no limit.
Honestly, once everything comes over, I think twice. Once you pass into a universe, then once you passing into that universe passes into another universe, you're done. Cut it off.
Yeah, we'll see. So, Roger, what's going on with Mario here, man?
Okay, so we were talking about during one of our ad breaks recently the resurgence of the video game, entertainment, video game movies, TV shows, and we were talking, are video games now able to break the wall again? Are they back in other medium? And I think we're here today. Like Mario is now in the top, it's almost in the top 10 of the highest grossing movies, animated movies. Like it made $1 billion at the box office. To
Almost.
kind of compare that, The Lion King being the number one most grossing box office film did 1.66 billion. Zootopia 1.025 billion dollars. So like this is about to enter the top 10 here soon. Like it's
Right.
pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's sitting at currently, as of 3 days ago, 871.84 million. So it's almost at the 1 billion mark, and there hasn't really been a ton of movies to pass the 10 that are the 1 billion mark. And looking at that top 10, whether it's Lion King, The Frozen, Incredibles, Minions, Toy Story, Despicable Me, Finding Dory, and Zootopia, like none of those are gaming movies, like gamings that became movies. So Mario, man, it's definitely on leading the forefront of what movies can be for video games.
Well,
Yeah,
Mario is
honest.
such a, I want to say family friendly, but when I say family friendly, I mean like you have the gamer dad who maybe first played on a Commodore and then played an Atari and then got the original NES. And you have, his three daughters, sons, or a mom who played this and with her daughters and sons, and like you have an entire family who, like, if there's one game everyone knows, it's Mario.
Hmm.
Everyone knows Mario. Everyone knows who Mario is. Bowser, Princess Peach, Luigi. Like everybody knows who these people are and want to go see them. Maybe it's like kind of like, hey, I would love to play some Mario right now, but instead of playing it, I get to go watch it. Like
Right,
this is just a compounding interest of like everything you want to see in a movie. It's your video game, it's your family, it's like you get to go out for a family movie night, and it's something everyone enjoys. Everyone's gonna know, like from
And
the original Mario down to like the Paper Mario little like sequences they put in there, where they have his fighting stances from Paper Mario, everything that you just have there, those little nuances. I mean, it's gonna be this top 10 probably by the end of next month easily.
and
So,
shout out
you,
to Frenchie with the follow here on Twitch. We definitely
hey,
greatly
Frenchie,
appreciate
how
it.
you doing?
And obviously, there with the new follow, we get to see the Mario Golden Star too. So got to
Love
tie that
that.
in. We definitely appreciate that. Love the support. But yeah, definitely agree. Mario is such a household name that no matter what generation you are from, everybody knows Mario and everybody loves Mario. Whether you're the oldest, the boomers, down to even I don't know what's after us, to be honest. What Gen
Zoomer.
Zoomer, whatever the hell they're called. Everybody knows Mario, and like you said, whether it was from the original NES down to up to the Switch now. I mean, it's on everything and the phone. When they brought Mario to the phone, Mario Go and Mario Kart, Mario brings people together, honestly. And even those non-gamers, like we talk about with Hogwarts Legacy, what that did, Mario can do the same thing. People who do not play games will play Mario Kart. Oh, you got Mario Kart at the party? Oh,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
playing. No one plays fucking video games, but you'll play Mario Kart for sure.
Yeah, because it's a racing game. It's a racing game, but it's Mario.
Right.
Oh, sweet. I want to get into that. Mario is the
It's one of
quintessential.
the oldest racing
It's
games in the world.
it is the video game.
Yeah,
It is
that
Mario
Mario Party,
Party. Like yeah, it's just like Mario Party. Like everything like Nintendo has like Mario,
Smash
Mario the
Brothers.
Smash Brothers. That's Mario. Like it is. It's obvious that this was gonna happen. Maybe not this quick, but man, I can't wait to see until Lion King just kind of
Takes
takes
the
a
back
takes a
seat.
nice seat down because
Yeah.
Mario.
Honestly, I don't
I
see The
wonder.
Lion King getting dethroned, but I definitely see this entering the top 10.
I
Oh yeah.
want. I want to make a point to apologize, because I, with so many others, were like really, really, uh, not interested in Chris Pratt's voice for Mario. we're like, well, this is an animated Mario. How about you get the guy who fucking does the voice for animated Mario?
Which I've met, by
But
the way.
Well, he did. He was in the film.
so he was in the film, but it was Chris Pratt who was Mario.
Yes, correct.
So it was like, okay, you can put him in the film, but he can't be fucking Mario. Like there was a lot of people that had their initial suspicions.
That
But,
actually
yeah.
is that is a thing that people in the industry are actually complaining about. I listen to voice actors
Are you
sometimes.
talking about John
panels.
Leguizamo?
Like what I was getting at is like there are voice actors in the industry who I've seen panels for, and they kind of talk about like, are we going away from like the ability for anyone to become a voice actor? Because sorry, this guy who acts over here, because he's a big name, we're just gonna have him instead. And it is, the problem with it is they needed somebody that you could go, oh, I know that guy's voice, I'm gonna go see that movie.
Well,
Yeah.
there is something to be said about like the name on a tagline. There absolutely is. But you know what? The name I paid attention to, that was Jack Black. He sure as fuck wasn't Chris Pratt for Mario. But yes,
Well, like,
there's
let's
a
stop
big,
for a second and just like talk about voice actors. Like, look at Finding Dory. Who voices Dory? Ellen DeGeneres. Like, you have to have names sometimes, and it really sucks because for a lot of people, if they don't have these big names, sometimes they won't go see the movie.
I know, and that's a terrible way to think. And we were like, with voice actors being so, I feel like it's a very volatile profession.
Mhm.
We were talking, Vic and I were talking, I want to say maybe 3 episodes back, about the voice actor for Ada Wong.
Hmm.
Because the fan base was so fucking toxic towards her. They're like, oh, I'm not feeling sexually aroused by the way you're talking. Like that's basically the gist of it. But I feel with voice actors, it's so volatile because you kind of need that big name to bring it in. But like I also think that helps a lot of voice actors who, without that, wouldn't have gotten that spotlight.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
So it's kind of weird. It's like a super big catch-22 because you have to have a big name to bring in people to watch these movies, and bring people out to oh, Chris Pratt's in it, cool. My kids
Yep.
love Chris Pratt. My kids love Star-Lord. Like, so you bring in Chris Pratt, but like maybe, yeah, maybe did he take a spot from somebody else? Of course,
Yeah.
but did the people that were voice actors in the movie benefit from Chris Pratt being brought on?
Yeah.
So it's a really
But
it's
and
a
then
really
like the other thing
volatile
is like
area.
the Mario movie was just star-studded cast too. So,
I
like,
was just
there
about to
weren't
bring that
really,
up.
there wasn't really anyone who was just a normal voice actor. Like it was all big
Yeah,
name actors.
and unless you're talking about maybe one of the Koopas,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
like maybe.
Well, even the Koopas that really talked were famous people.
Keegan Michael Key.
Jack Black carried the movie.
I mean,
Honestly,
especially with the song. I mean,
Jack
look
Black
look at the
Jack
song
Black
Peach.
carries every movie he's in, and you can quote me on that. Every movie that Jack Black is in, he carries.
Yeah.
100%.
he's like the reverse Nick Cage. Like he isn't the worst part of the movie. He's the best part of every movie.
Right, exactly. Disney Princess is here trying to allude to what I'm trying to point at is the song that he sings, Peaches, is up for a Grammy. Like it has broken like
Okay,
that shit's
all right,
insane.
We are breaking away from the gaming industry news, everything like that, because I have to say this: Jack Black is the A-list entertainer. He does not put out anything bad. I'm so sick of like I haven't had this argument with you guys, but I have it with multiple people.
I
Jack
love
Black
Jack Black.
is the A-list entertainer. He's the best.
He just seemed a little out of place when he was in The Mandalorian, though. I will say that. Him and Lizzo were cut. That was like a really weird episode.
I thought he seemed fine because he was like aloof as somebody who was ex-Empire would be.
Yeah.
But still like trying to be like super wholehearted.
Yeah.
Like in his endeavor and like in his invitations and things like that. That was a super like wholesome like hey, once that was bad, now I was good. Now I'm good. Like trying to
do better.
trying to
yeah.
work it in there. And I thought, yeah, it seemed a little weird, but I think what you're describing is how good of an actor he was. because it felt awkward, and people that were in that position would be fucking awkward.
Yeah, for
100.
sure. I personally, like, this is off topic, obviously, but that episode just seemed out of place from the whole timeline altogether. But that's a
A little
whole
bit, but
here nor
we'll go
there.
ahead and we'll go ahead and close that fourth wall for a
Yeah,
minute,
yeah,
and
for
we'll
sure.
bring that back.
So, yeah, if you guys have nothing else to say, then we can move on here to our ad break. All right. So, this week we wanted to talk about the recent game of Dead Island 2 releasing, and obviously Dying Light 2 has been out for what, a year, give or take, and they were like, no, we cannot be dethroned as the goriest zombie fighting game, and they released a new gore update to be able to compete with Dead Island 2. Roger, what are your thoughts on this?
They're grasping at straws. It's what it is. Like, they need something. They were like, we have 500 hours of content. Is it good content? We have 500 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not great.
Yeah.
We talked about this last week. I even my clip that I pulled apart for us this week was what's a side quest, honestly, and that's what
Yeah.
it feels like. They're like, oh dude, we have so many side quests, we're so cool. Oh shit, nobody likes our game because it's garbage. We didn't write a good game. Okay, well,
Yeah.
let's at least have something for us. People love gore and violence. Do we?
Yeah, it was really mind blowing that they were like, yeah, we're going to try and compete. We're going to release the update the same week as Dead Island 2's release, and
Yeah,
Dead
they're
Island,
trying to dethrone them.
right? And honestly, Dead Island 2 is it's so far it's been an okay or a good game. It's been reviewing like a 7 out of 10 on average, so it's like nothing to be that excited about, but it has me excited because Dying Light 2 was a really fucking dumpster fire when we played it. So maybe when me, you,
Yeah.
and Scott hop onto Dead Island 2, not anywhere in the time soon because I know we're waiting to give that a go. Maybe that'll be an enjoyable zombie experience where it's more focused on that combat, that zombie experience, that survival experience. Where like Dying Light 2 was like, let's make a parkour game, but we're gonna add zombies to it. Like that. That's where that messed up. It wasn't a zombie game and adding parkour to it. It was a parkour game and we added zombies to it. And that's where they had any miss up there. Scott, what's your take on the whole Dead Island 2 versus Dying Light 2?
Man, I think Dead Island 2, if done properly, would have absolutely demolished. I think gore for the sake of gore, I don't like it.
Isn't yeah.
It's not. It's not what I'm here for. Like, yeah, like having super gory parts is great. Like having super gory parts is great, but like this is my same issue with the Saw movies. Gore for the sake of gore doesn't do anything for me. Like,
Right.
yeah, if you have super gross moments and things like that, you maybe, if you have 15 insanely gory moments, maybe you'll get me with like 2 or 3 of them, but that's not why I'm here.
Right.
That's a nice to have.
We're circling back to that, huh?
The necessity is that you still make a good game that's not solely based off of how fucking gory you can be. You don't
Right.
have to do that.
Well, the thing is what I was just alluding to. If they were just focused on a zombie game, that would have came with the gore, as opposed to making a parkour game and trying to add zombies to it.
Yeah, like let's make a zombie game, but like 90% of your interaction is gonna be, or 90% of your focus is gonna be like, oh, movement, parkour, like you said, like, and then just add gore to it. That's a zombie game. There it is. We did it.
Yeah.
We did it, everybody. Here's skateboard and zombies.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Get the fuck out of here. You don't need like fuck out of here.
Yeah, I hear that. So-
I think Dead Island 2 with the 10-year mix that it had in there could have obviously been a lot better, but
Yeah, we'll see
that's
how
a
that plays
conversation
out.
for a different time.
But we want to welcome back everybody from the ad break. We're going to move on to our gaming news. So, obviously, we love to kick it off every week in our gaming news now with the Xbox news. And, man, this is some unfortunate news right off the bat with their Halo IP. We lost 2 big known guys here from the Halo, the developers. We lost Frank O'Connor. He's leaving 343 and Microsoft, along with Joseph Staten, who is also leaving 343 and Microsoft Studios. But Joseph Staten has interesting because not only is he leaving us here at Xbox, but he's going to Netflix Games, and he's been apparently working on a brand new AAA multi-platform game. My
Fuck off.
question,
Fuck
my,
Netflix games.
I understand, but my question to you guys here to the panel is this what Halo needs to reinvent itself? Because we know that both of these guys were high up on the list. They were the reason why the Halo games were so successful in the past. But is it time to let the past go and move on and get that new blood in there, that new take on Halo? We can't have the same type of Halo game over and over again.
No, we did that. It was called Halo 5 Guardians.
No,
That
yeah.
was new blood.
You-
No, we need the people who made Halo. Like
I
the
think-
game took a fucking nosedive.
If anything, this is your biggest red flag. This is your biggest red flag that what you were doing is not working. I mean, man, shit, to have them leave, like that's rough. That's rough. That's like something is fucking desperately wrong, and they need to figure out where it is to fix that. Now, with that said, I will play a little bit of devil's advocate and say that yes, if they're stepping out, that will give other people an opportunity for the creative development. But shit, like that's
Yeah.
but shit.
Yeah.
That's,
So
that's it.
just to give you guys a highlight real quick on what Joseph Staten did, he actually wasn't on the original Halo Infinite team. They brought him in to fix the fucking shit because we know what was going on originally. He fixed it. He axed a bunch of shit because the game wasn't going to be finished and be
And
ready
then
by a
he
certain
pieced
time.
the fuck out.
And I wonder if that was part of that arbitrary agreement when he first came back. He was like, "Hey, I'll come back. I'll fix your game. Once it's out, we get to season 3 or whatever timeline you got for me. I'm out. Peace. I want to move on to something different. I can't be tied down to Halo anymore. I want that creative freedom and doing something new." Because he's been doing Halo for 20 years. Who wants to keep making the same shit over and over again? If I can go spread a new idea out, you know what I mean?
If it's fucking good, I would.
Yeah, and honestly, maybe this is what Netflix needs because we know right now Netflix is a joke, but Netflix
is mobile only.
right now, but Netflix is going to be a really big competitor to Game Pass because they already have that subscription base. They already have that huge number. Everybody who has Netflix games. So now if you start putting big time games, because you know how when a big show releases on Netflix and it goes fucking wildfire, everybody in the fucking world watches the show on Netflix. We could see the same thing with a hugely successful game from Netflix. I honestly think that we could see that.
Honestly,
don't think
it
you
gets to
can.
the point. I actually want to pile on with Vic, and I think there's a counterpoint here to what you might say, Scobie, is what about, like, say you're finishing watching The Witcher show, and now at the end it says, continue the journey, and it's like, play Witcher 3, install now.
That's the
No,
biggest
that's-
success from Netflix is because they have so many original shows that they can turn into then games as well.
Or games that
And-
could become shows.
Right.
Because we just talked about it. Like, look at what HBO Max did with Naughty Dog's Last of Us. Like, it's great. It's awesome. Now, what if we had the ability where you were watching The Last of Us and you click and boom, you jump into where that movie, that TV show would have left off in a game version? Not specifically like in the middle
Yeah.
of a game, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, like, you finished a season, that season was game 1. You want to play game 2, or you want to play the game version of season 1. Now
Yeah.
play the game.
Right.
Like, I agree that Netflix has a chance, but the problem is Netflix has already disappointed us. So I want to go with Scobie here and say, are they? Is it gonna succeed? Because look at what they did for us so far.
Well, first off, the answer is no. It's fucking not.
Yeah,
Amazon still hasn't even put out a fucking decent game. And the
they
last
did
decent
for
game
5 weeks.
the last decent game they put out was brick and video cards. What the fuck you think Netflix is gonna do for games that have already existed? Like, now, just using the hypothetical here. Oh, you've watched The Witcher. Now go ahead and play The Witcher, and then next thing you know, your fucking Roku doesn't turn on anymore. like, Netflix can fuck off with games for me. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just my personal opinion. Doesn't need to be a thing. It doesn't need to be a thing. Nobody asked for it. Not a single. Did anybody here go, I really wish Netflix would do games?
No, and I agree with you there. I don't think Netflix is the right competitor in the zone, but they have a chance to help reinvigorate the space, because now we're looking at Game Pass going up in price here soon, you know. We're looking at the changes that could come with Game Pass. What happens after Activision Blizzard is purchased, you know. The future, you know, if Game Pass is the only person there offering those games, what happens to the the direction of those subscription models, those games, those big things. So like I think we kind of benefit from another person, shitty or not, joining the space because maybe it could allow for innovation. That's
I
what I
think
want.
the caveat to that being, like, what does Xbox have? Oh, they have friends and family. What is Netflix doing? You can't share passwords. You go to
I,
jail.
and
Like,
maybe Netflix institutes a friends and family plan for Netflix that you can use with the games. You
which
know,
will
Right.
completely
that's the thing.
counteract the entire thing that they've been working on this entire time.
I know it would, but you know what?
Like,
It admitting you're wrong is the first step to fixing an issue. Like if Netflix just realizes, hey, this isn't the right way to go, they can still become a competitor to Game Pass and maybe we'll see innovation because God forbid Sony does something right for once.
well, that. I mean, no, we're talking about things that are actually going to happen.
Yeah.
So we can just leave Sony out of that,
just
out of
a
that entire conversation.
just a quick thought on the whole like Netflix shutting down the password sharing and stuff like that. One, I don't know how they're going to track it. Two, they do have like a family and friends because I'm on it right now. You can have like 4 accounts on it or whatever. But like, what if my one account, I use it on my Xbox, my phone, my 3 tablets, my TV. Like, how where do you put the limit at? How do you know that that person didn't get a new
IP
device?
address.
The thing
IP
is
address.
they're looking at geolocating and they're looking at time overlap. So like if I'm watching at the same time you are and we're like 15-20 minutes away on a by
Hmm.
highway or something, they're like, hey, are they
Well,
are they like
they're doing that
are
by
they a household? Like
Right.
it's via IP address.
But what if I'm
yeah,
on my mobile phone that's not connected to my Wi-Fi and I'm watching Netflix?
that's geolocation.
That's where you do location, and
But
then
what if I don't allow it?
IP address. Well, too bad you can't watch Netflix or play The
Oh,
Witcher.
see, there's a lot. That's a lot of gray area that you're diving into
Yeah.
there. But
It gets
Yeah.
all I know is we just went down a massive rabbit hole here. But moving on to the next part of Xbox here with an update to Game Pass, we got some pretty solid lineup here for the additions coming. We got Minecraft Legends, Coffee Talk 2, Medieval Dynasty, and Homestead Arcana already available now on Game Pass. You got Cassette Beast on the 26th, which is in a couple of days. Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle Special Edition on the 27th, along with the last case of Benedict Fox, which I already alluded to that I'm really excited for. And we cannot forget about Redfall 2 on May 2nd, so that is coming up here. It is losing quite a few games, though, that are have a little bit of a significance here. We're losing Bugsnax, which was originally a PlayStation exclusive, then comes Xbox, came to Game Pass. It's just one of those like platformer, like colorful games, whatever. Destroy All Humans, the remake, leaving. Dragon Quest Builder 2. I know Roger. I think you played it a little bit, and so did Marshmallow. He
I
played it.
never played it.
Oh, okay. I think it was just Marshmallow, and I think he actually ended up beating it as well. Tetris Effect Connected. That was one of the games that were originally on the Xbox Series X that touted the ability to run at 120 hertz. I mean, I know it's a Tetris game, but it was like a really competitive, like multiple Tetris things on one screen. It was chaos, and it was a lot of fun. I did check it out when I did get my Series X. And then the last up is Unsold. All of these games are going to be gone on April 30th, but you can pick them up for 20% off before they leave via if you have Game Pass. So you guys upset that any of these are leaving, or like what's going on here with Game Pass losing games as opposed to gaining games?
Honestly, we're getting more games than we're losing, and we're not losing anything that was like, whoa, this game broke the internet. Like,
Yeah,
we're looking at Minecraft Legends. Like, this is really good. Coffee Talk 2. This is really good. We're looking at
the last case of
Cross
Benedict
Tag
Fox.
Battle. Blaz Blue is a huge fighting series. We're getting
Yeah,
Redfall, good, bad, or otherwise.
yeah, we'll
But
see.
what are we losing? Destroy All Humans? This is an old game. A
But
super
it's
old
the
game.
year. It's the year of the remakes.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I get what you're saying.
I
But
know,
we're
I'm joking.
losing Tetris.
Nah, yeah, I know, I know, but yeah. But last up in regards to Xbox services, so Twitter recently had an update where like they're going through a really bad time right now again with Twitter, and they basically like any APIs that you want to use to incorporate into your platform, yeah, it's going to cost you a lot of fucking money, like 50,000,
100%.
like 50,000 I think a month or something like that, and Xbox was like, yeah, we're not paying for that. And so no, you're no longer going to be able to share your screenshots directly from the shit like the Captures app to there. But now, I mean, you can still download the photo and then upload it to Twitter that way. So like, it just adds an extra step. So it's here nor there for losing. Honestly, if I really want to share clips, I'm gonna do it anyway. And I usually add them to my phone anyway before I do anything. So I'm not really losing out here. But sucks for anybody who did enjoy that feature, being able to share directly to Twitter.
Well,
Roger.
that's going to jack up that touch screen that comes with the Xbox controller soon. We
Yeah,
talked about a while back.
yeah. The
That
one.
immediate share.
Yeah. So we'll see how that all plays out for sure. Maybe they'll decide to pay for it, and they're like, okay, yeah, we do need that. But over in the PlayStation world, what's going on with their games?
So we saw Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores come out. And so at the end of the DLC, their setup is kind of pointing towards maybe this is the setup for the next game. Where do we go from here? Because, we're already what, two DLC into Horizon Forbidden West?
One.
One.
This is
Sorry.
the first one.
One DLC. Yeah. So we're one DLC into the Forbidden West game. We're looking at what, two or three over the course of the game here. We have reoccurring characters from the first game making a resurgence in this DLC. Are we getting hints that a third one is coming in 3 to 4 years here?
That's what it seems like, and honestly, one of the main villains was a good guy turned villain. Spoiler from the original game, Zero Dawn. But Silence, who was voiced by the late Lance Reddick, he's apparently supposed to be in the third game. But I'm curious to see how that plays out because obviously, with his passing, are they going to use that deep fake, that AI technology that just continues to use the voice, even though he's no longer to provide the voice, and that's going to be some interesting gray area. Maybe he signed a contract saying, "Hey, you can use my voice when I'm no longer able to give it to you." So I'm really
Yeah,
curious to
that's
see how that plays out.
interesting to see how that's gonna play out. I think if it would be like, oh yeah, we're just gonna recap his voice the whole time or do an AI. I think having somebody who sounded like him might do a little bit more justice because like the AI sort of thing is just we all know that's intentionally fake.
Well, they've been
So
doing really good. I mean, even Star Wars has been doing really well. I think from the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, anytime Darth Vader talked, it was James Earl Jones's voice, but it really wasn't James Earl Jones speaking. It was the
Yeah,
AI.
yeah,
it comes down to the estate and who owns the intellectual property of his voice. Sad to
yeah,
say, you can
honestly,
own
which is
that
really
property.
terrible. Which is a terrible thing to have a conversation about. Is like, well, yeah, he passed, but who really
Did
owns
he
his
really own his voice?
Did he own his own voice? Did he own his own body? The thing, the like his own vocal cords.
Isn't that something that
Was it
like?
really his
Isn't it crazy
in
that we're gonna have to add that
perpetuity?
to our will now? Like, all right, when I pass away, you get my car, and then, oh yeah, Sony, you get my voice. like that's
Yeah,
so crazy.
man, like we'll keep it brief. But that's a whole another rabbit hole to go down. So hopefully, they do it tastefully. They do it within the wishes, and we'll see how that ends up for
Right,
this extra DLC.
right. So, Roger, one more game here with PlayStation.
So the last thing that we wanted to cover here is The Last of Us Part 1 PC port. We got update 1.04. So, this dumpster fire of a PC port, sadly, like so many games by Sony, it had a lot of issues, and it took until now for them to be able to fix frame rates and graphical improvements that were just sorely missing on the PC port. Like, this game was tearing, not running at the correct frames. There were just a lot of issues with the PC release of this game. Hopefully this fixes it, but like, shouldn't have this been version 1.00, not 1.04?
Yeah, I agree, and it's just really curious because like PC is like the most powerful place to play a game on, but yet it's always the hardest to optimize for. It seems like because we talk about it all the
Well,
time. Like every
it's
game that releases on PC just struggles most of the time, and I'm just like,
And
what is
the
the
issue
issue?
is you have a wide variety of parts and components,
Hmm.
and that is a problem because you could have, there's 100 graphics cards, thousands of graphics cards on the market. There's 10, 20 different varieties for each series of graphics card. So each one of the 20 graphics card manufacturers for Intel makes their own card, and it may run slightly different than every other card, or it may be optimized slightly different than every other card. So there are issues with PC ports, but the problem is like, why was it so like, why is PlayStation struggling so much more than Microsoft is? Like, Like I
Right.
get Microsoft makes PC, but like at the same time, like Windows is made by Microsoft, but why can't Sony just do a little bit better at fixing their game and making sure it's ready before it goes to PC? Because this is how they can start to win the war.
Yeah, yeah. If they're able to come on PC day one without any issues and run at the same fidelity as it would run on the PS5, that'll be a huge win for them, honestly. But we'll see how that goes. So moving on
Well,
to
they
the
used
oh
the same. They used the same team that actually failed on a PC port prior to that. I think it was Naughty Dog, who also made a terrible PC port of a previous game. So why would you reuse the same
But Naughty Dog is the
development
one who
team?
made Last of Us on PS4 or the
right,
PlayStation.
yeah, they're touted as one of the best developers, but clearly only they're good at
Not
PlayStation
Naughty
software, not
And that's the thing. They've only ever developed for PlayStation.
right. So that definitely could be an issue there. Maybe they're not familiar with the tool set that it takes to
Yeah.
optimize a game for the PC and stuff like that. And then you're alluding to the different parts. Maybe they're only optimizing it for AMD versus Nvidia, because I do know the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox both use AMD chips. I know they're custom Jaguar chips, but still they're AMD chips. They're not Nvidia. So maybe they optimize primarily for those as opposed to Nvidia or Intel even. So we'll definitely we'll see how that
Iron
goes.
Galaxy. Iron Galaxy ported is what
Okay,
I said. Yeah.
gotcha.
That's my apologies. I was reading
No, no,
through.
you're good.
I'm trying to figure out because I know that they used Iron Galaxy before, and they also failed a PC port, so they used them twice.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves
Yes.
collection that also was ported over. That didn't do so well. The same thing with Returnal. I don't know who did Returnal, but like there was only one successful port, and that was the Spider-Man game. But that game was out since what, like 2014, so it was a much older game for them to port. So no big deal there. But Scott, what's going on in the Nintendo world?
So for the games right now for Nintendo, I mean, obviously, kind of a nice little dull silence, calm before the storm, before Tears of the Kingdom hits with Nintendo. So right now we got a DLC for Xenoblade Chronicles 3. It's going to be future redeemed. It comes out on the 25th of this month, so we're about 2 days away from that. It adds playable versions of Future Shulk and Rex. Just another DLC for Xenoblade that's coming out. Still looks pretty fun, looks pretty solid. Haven't heard anything in the negatives about that yet, but clearly it's still coming out in 2 days. So any people that have been able to play that ahead of time haven't said much. Other than that, so there's been a. I wanted to put this in kind of like rumors and leaks, but not 100% sure yet. We're looking at a Pokemon Red and Blue 2.5D HD remake. So this is going to be Pokemon Red and Blue with the same graphics as like Octopath Traveler. And if anybody's seen any of the videos, it looks really, really intriguing. So hopefully that actually does come out as a full game and is playable. Other than that, for Nintendo, not much this week. But speaking of much this week, I know we are looking at The Division, Roger. I know you've been
So
super hyped to talk about that.
Yeah,
no,
I am.
okay.
Yeah, so the Division had the Division Day, and this is where they kind of gave like a roadmap of what's to come for their games that they got. Obviously, they're sitting on the Division 2. Year 5, they released the roadmap in regards to that, and that has me kind of excited to maybe even give it a try. It'll be available early in 2023, and with the new season called Broken Wings, it brings like new manhunt targets and constitution rebuilding a castle settlement now. It also brings a new game mode called Descendant Game Mode, which is a roguelite mode separate from the main games, where you play in like this virtual reality like simulation built inside the game, and like you're really just trying to set records and go up that leaderboard and see how far you can really make. Whether you can play with solo or with friends, and you unlock new and more powerful gear, which obviously that's that whole grind with the Division. It's the looter shooter thing. Um, and the Division is a really fun game and really fun universe. Is just if you don't have a group of friends that you're going to play with all the time, yeah, it's not really that fun. You play through the story, great. End game, there's a lot to do, but you have to be invested in it. So, but their other game, the Division Resurgence, which is their like mobile game that's going to be coming out, and it comes with an all new campaign, and it bridges the gap between the Division 1 and the Division 2, and it seems pretty interesting. We didn't really get a lot of details in regards to how this game is really going to play. The graphics don't really. It looks like a very mobile game, honestly. and you'll be able to play a beta coming out here in the summer of 2023 as well, which you can go over to their website and sign up as well. But the one that has me really excited for is that their next mainstream game, which is called The Division Heartland, which has been announced for a few years now, but we didn't know much about it. But this is a free to play game, and this one takes you into a small town called Silver Creek, which is out in like the Midwest. And basically, you find out your commander, when you were stationed in Boston, went rogue, and he went out there to this town, and he's building up this rogue army that's going to try to take over the country, and like you're trying to go against them. The interesting part with this is that it has features that the first two games should have had initially. You actually have to manage your starving and your hydration. Like when the Division One first showcased, it looked like you were collecting bottles and food, and I was like, oh shit! Like you're gonna have to manage like your hunger and your hydration like that. You're surviving. It's a survival game, but they're finally adding it back into here, and I was like, that little mechanic, I think it could make all the difference in this type of game. Maybe make the enemies a little less bullet spongy, and you might have a really solid game and not so focused on that looter shooter grinding. Maybe if you continue to, because it's free to play, this could be a legitimate games of service done properly. You add episodes, you add story content. All right, cool. You were in Silver Creek. Well, you got to travel to Boston, or now you got to go to Washington D.C. again. Got to go to New York and check out those things that you did in the first game. Whatever that is, like you could really tie this all in together and have a lot of fun. And you'll be able to sign up on their for the closed beta on their official website. And if chosen, you can invite 5 additional friends as well. So be on the lookout for that. And I honestly would love to check out the Division again with you guys. So even if we could maybe sign up for the beta and give Heartland a go.
To
But
be honest, I've never played the Division.
okay, neither games.
So going neither, nothing, not at all. So going into it, I would be just an open book, ready to. I mean, I would totally play that with you guys. The survival factor is definitely like one of those big things that I do like, as long as it's like given up front, like you said, how it should have been. That's something else you have to monitor. It adds a little bit more realism to the game. Like you said, make the enemies a little bit more.
Gives you a reason to
and will be good.
drop back in.
Exactly, it gives you a reason to like replay. Like, oh, I didn't survive because of this. Well, now that I fixed this, let's see why I don't survive.
Oh
this
yeah,
time.
and I forgot to give the other thing with Heartland, your centralized like home, the thing that you usually upgrade and stuff. It's like a living, breathing area. So like you could be playing it by yourself, and then you go to like the tower from Destiny, and you're in there with like 40 other fucking people, like real life people, and you can actually stockpile stuff. When you're going out looting, and you go out there with like 20 bullets, good luck. As like, or you can go out there and loot, stash some loot or some ammo and stuff like that. So when you take on that next big mission, you can like stock up and actually legitimately prepare if you were actually going on these missions in like real life. And like
Yeah,
it makes
so
looting more meaningful as opposed
it's like
to like
kind
not.
of like trips.
It feels like State of Decay. It feels like
Yeah.
we're getting to these games that succeeded
Yeah.
where they did not.
Or you have like your Tarkov, where it's like you go out, you go a little bit,
It seems like DMZ.
and then you come back.
Tarkov more than DMZ.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then okay, so you go out for your first run, you go out a little bit, you gather your stuff, you bring it back. Cool, you have it for the next one. You go out a little bit further, you get what you can, bring it back. And every time you just got a little bit further. And I think that this survival mechanic is going to add a lot of that, like, well, do I go a little bit further? Do I not? Do I stop here and bring it back? I think that's going to add a little bit more of that.
Right, and it also
to
it also
which is
depends on
really
what missions you're working on, like with the story, whether
Yeah.
you're doing like main missions or side missions, and hopefully they're legitimately like impactful side missions. Where like if I go out and do this side mission, it's going to make my home base better. I have access to a different part of here where it's going to allow me to upgrade certain gear a little bit better. Like make it meaningful, where like I don't have to do it, but if I want to get better here, I'm going to have to go do it. You know what I
Well,
mean?
it's definitely gonna give you that juice versus squeeze mentality. Like, is the juice gonna be worth the squeeze this time? Maybe.
Well, like let's look at why Kill the Justice League is so poorly reviewed for just showing us clips. You're looking at guns that have random modifiers. You're going out, you're collecting gear, and you're trying to find things that just have that perfect roll. Like let's talk about like MMOs, what succeeds and doesn't succeed. Look at Blizzard and World of Warcraft. you get a piece of gear, it's not like it's rolling on it most times. Okay, there are very slight, minute things to change to get you in that grind loop, but if you get a piece of gear, it's the same piece of gear, except for maybe one modifier that's added in sometimes at random. Whereas this, we're looking at like, oh, this time I pick up an AK that has faster fire rate but less damage. I don't know if I want this. It's like, is it worth going out to try and pull another AK, another M9 pistol? Like, what, is that really the grind you want versus like, okay, my guys are running out of bullets, my guys are running out of water, I need to go get some water, I need some more bullets, otherwise we won't be able to survive tonight when they come to attack us.
Right, and the other thing is we can't forget about the contaminated zones. Though those are back, it's kind of included as opposed to like going to the dark zone with the original the Division 1 and 2. That was like a whole separate type of game mode where like this is all part of the real world where like if you want that high gear item, good luck trying to get into that highly contaminated area if you're not geared up for it, whether it's having a better gas mask or the different medicines and stuff like that, or having the proper drinks in the food to go into that area, because you will die from that contamination really quickly. So there's definitely a lot of high risk, high reward in that kind of scenario. But yeah, I would definitely love to check it out. Yeah, Scott, even if it's me and you, if Roger doesn't want to hop on board, I would love to maybe check out the Division 1 and 2 again. I would love to. I have both of them right here behind me on disc, ready to go.
I haven't played either one. I would
If I
totally
could
go
play for
playing
free.
any of them.
Yeah, if you could play for free. I mean, you could if you get Ubisoft Plus.
Oh, for $18 a fucking month.
Hey,
Ubisoft
it'll be
Plus?
cheaper to do that and play both games in the same month and beat them than it is to buy the games separately.
I'm just trying to remember the last time I spent so much on something so useless.
Yeah, I know. I get it. But
I,
let's
this is a $5 coaster, but still like
yeah.
more useful.
So
It's ceramic that counts for something.
I appreciate the talk with the Division. Hopefully we can dive into that. But Roger, Cyberpunk got a little bit of an update here too.
Yeah, okay. So talking about dumpster fires that might be on their way back, Cyberpunk 2077 adds ray tracing overdrive mode. So what this is you have your graphics presets on computer games. So like on PC, you get to choose low, medium, optimize for X, optimize for Z. This one is a new mode specifically called overdrive for ray tracing. If you have a compatible graphics card, it adds new presets at the end of your slider. So it has increased the ray tracing, dynamic lighting,
Shadows.
DLSS support, shadows. So there's a lot new. There's just they've extended the slider bar to make the game look a little bit better. So they're continuing to add more to the graphics, but not the story.
Right, yeah. Well, we're not going to get any more until we see Phantom Liberty, which is right around the corner, honestly. So that'll be the time when we hop in, and the game's going to be at the highest fidelity possible, guys.
And you're going to melt your fucking computer or
my
console.
Xbox. Yeah, it's going to melt it for sure.
I'm already feeling it now. No, it's pretty cool. We'll see.
So, Scott, we had some big news in the Harry Potter universe.
Man, so I wouldn't say big news, but news. So we finally found out why there was no Quidditch in Hogwarts Legacy, and that is because Warner Bros. Games announced Harry Potter Quidditch Champions, which is going to be a standalone game where you play Quidditch, only Quidditch, all the time. I'm not particularly happy about it, and
What's the price of this new game?
Doesn't matter because I'm not fucking buying it. It really doesn't matter. Actually, let me check. Quidditch.
It's $60.
Champions.
It's a $60-$70 game.
Well, yeah, there's no price yet.
$60 game to play Quidditch.
Mm-hmm.
That is a $60 game to play Quidditch.
Yeah, I'm just curious here though that this time is that it got the tagline of it's Harry Potter's Quidditch Champions and not like Hogwarts Legacy's Quidditch Challenger or whatever you want to call it.
It's not gonna be Hogwarts Legacy's fucking Quidditch Championship because that's the only thing we fucking asked for in Hogwarts Legacy, and it's the only thing they fucking didn't give us.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like
it's probably because there's no multiplayer in Hogwarts Legacy is probably why. So then like
there could have been of all of the times where you could like we've had instances of multiplayer and PvP since fucking 2003, 20 years ago. We could have had, hey, go to this, go to the Quidditch circle and play Quidditch against other people, and then have its own little like mini game sort of deal, kind of like an arena, like we had discussed last week. Like you could have done so many other things, but instead you robbed us of Quidditch in Hogwarts Legacy, and you gave us an entire Quidditch game, which like I love Quidditch, but it does not need to be its own fucking game. This was not something that was
But
needed.
we get the same football game every year. FIFA releases it
Yeah.
every year for
Should have been a
$70.
service.
Yeah.
Should have been a
Could have been a
service.
And it
service.
sounds like Harry Potter's Quidditch Champion should be a free-to-play live service game because you can add different courses and different places to play at and new balls and you have a cosmetic shop and you would have the whole shebang. You could make it a
No, it'll
legitimate
have
game.
that. It'll
Could
have that.
added, you
But
could
it's
have
$70.
added that to Hogwarts Legacy.
You could have.
You could have added that to Hogwarts Legacy, even as a DLC.
Yes, a paid
Even as a
DLC if you
DLC.
wanted to.
A paid DLC for 20 or 30 bucks. Cool, excellent.
So your character that you dress
16,
up in that
70,
game, you can
whatever,
play
for
as.
for fucking Quidditch. Man, this is like the French Prince said, it's flip turned upside down. Because this should have been a DLC in Hogwarts Legacy and not its own standalone game for the price of a full standalone game. Like, this should have been just, hey, cool, we didn't have Quidditch to begin with because we weren't 100% sure how we wanted to work it. And then, you know what, we're how many months into Hogwarts Legacy? This is enough time to figure out how, hey, we can get multiplayer Quidditch. You can go play. You can play against AI. You can play against real people. All this good stuff. Should have been a DLC just to add there. Get your little achievements, all that good stuff, and just keep pressing forward. But we get Quidditch as its own standalone. Quidditch has no seasons. That's not going to be Quidditch 2024 next year. It's not going to be Quidditch 2025. It's not going to be 2K Quidditch. Why?
2K Quidditch. I mean, you could.
2K Quidditch. I just don't understand why it's that. It doesn't need to be that big. It never needed
Yeah.
to be that big. We just wanted just a little bit of Quidditch. Just a
And
little
honestly,
bit
the
of Quidditch as a
thing
treat.
is, it and it could flop wholeheartedly, and that's the problem. Why are we getting a
I'm not
full
buying it.
feature-length? Yeah,
I'm
and
not
that's the
fucking
thing.
buying that game.
Yeah, and it's gonna be it's geared towards the people who are like diehard Quidditch fans, like those really mouth breathing, like this is my life. Harry Potter is my identity.
I mean, we can't forget.
Like, show me somebody who is that big into Quidditch. Because
I can. There's
don't
a
know
legitimate
Does
league.
anybody
I
here
don't know
one?
anybody physically, but there is a legitimate
There
league
is a
that people
legitimate-
play
Yeah,
in.
they fucking walk around because it's not actual Quidditch because there's no fucking magic.
Yeah.
Like,
You're on a
goddamn.
broomstick, though.
Oh, but you're walking around with a little broom tucked behind your tail. I do
Yeah.
the same fucking movement when I have to poop. And I'm racing to the bathroom. I do the same. Oh, gotta get there. Like, come on. There
Yeah.
was no need for this game.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that's fun. So we'll see how that progresses, and maybe it'll be a game that we actually enjoy, and it's better than what we expect. But moving on to a game that is kind of coming out of nowhere, that could be a huge competitor, honestly, is Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. It kind of got like an update here. So just to break it down, let me just separate the map here, because basically you're going to be playing on the map of Hong Kong Island. So it's a pretty massive area, and it can kind of compete with, say, Forza Horizon 5. I think that's what we could really see here. It's a 1-to-1 scale of the island. You're getting 14 in-game districts, dynamic night and day and weather cycles. There's 370 miles worth of drivable roads, and I'm just like, this is awesome to see that there's going to be some potential competition in a game that I know me and Roger both have played and both have loved. It's been one of the best racing games that we have played in a really long time. So, Roger, what's your thoughts on this upcoming game?
Just to give you an idea, Hong Kong Island is 30 square miles. That's huge.
Yeah.
It is 30 square miles big, so we're looking at a huge island, and it is a 1-to-1 scale rendition. This is like Microsoft Flight Simulator style gameplay.
Yeah, that's disgusting. That is huge.
That's awesome. Like, I honestly, I would give this game a go, because this is the kind of things that that excite me, is the idea that there are these, these racing games. Like this game hasn't come out yet, and I'm already excited for it just because they're like, oh, we have like, full on renditions of 1-to-1 scale locations. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I
And
I like
this
the idea.
trailer that I'm throwing up here on screen was just from a year ago, like when it was first kind of like revealed to us. And honestly, like I know a lot of this was just like a cinematic, but the fact that you're adding like cinematics to the racing game that Forza Horizon doesn't have, like everything's all done like very basic when it comes to the story that happens in Forza. Because really, the story is exploring the island, understanding what's going on, and it's a racing festival. Where this seems like it could have a potential story, and if you do a lot of like you put a lot into productions and make a legitimate story out of it, you could have a much better game if it looks and runs just as good as Forza Horizon 5, but has a much better story. This could
Well,
take over
hell,
as the best racer.
I mean, even if this has a better looking palette coming up, like for me is that sort of nightclub
Cyberpunk neon lights.
yeah, it's the future cyberpunk style. Exactly. It just it looks really good. Now, yeah, we're seeing a cinematic trailer and not in-game gameplay,
Right.
but I'm excited because with Forza, what we were doing with Horizon was it was an open world driver. Like same with what we're gonna get with Forza
Motorsport,
Motorsport.
yeah.
It's gonna be track racing. This is street racing. This is the kind of thing that we haven't seen done well in a long time.
Yeah, so that'll be awesome to see. I
It's
mean,
the last test drive.
yeah, pretty much.
I mean,
there's another game that really competes in the same genre, same racing is the whole the Crew 1 and 2, and then the recently revealed the new Crew 3 or whatever the heck it's going to be called. So that'll be pretty cool. But I mean, as you can see here, like this is the island, the Hong Kong island that you're really going to be playing on, and the fact that it's one
And
to
it's
one
one to
scale,
one.
yeah. So like that's going to be massive, honestly. So really excited for that one, whenever that comes out here. Um, but moving on here to our next topic here, Monster Hunter Now. What's going on here with this game?
So Monster Hunter Now is the new Monster Hunter Geo game. So Niantic has developed Pokemon Go, as we're aware of, as well as the new NBA game, I believe it is,
Yeah,
wasn't it? Yeah.
they've made a
So
bunch of different games with the same
yeah.
idea.
So now we're getting the Monster Hunter version. It's a real-world action RPG mobile game that is set to release this year in September for iOS and Android devices that will allow you and your friends to take down iconic monsters like Rathalos and Great Yagras on your next walk around the neighborhood. Is it gonna be a success? I don't think so. The Monster
Not
Hunter
here,
players,
not here in
yeah,
the states.
yeah, exactly.
This is
Now,
going to be
maybe,
huge in like Japan and that
maybe.
other market.
Maybe, because they still have Pokemon Go. Like we still see, like you've seen the old Pokemon Go guy who rides a bike around with 30 fucking phones
Yeah,
playing it.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Pokemon Go was a cultural phenomenon. I mean,
Hmm.
we're never going to see anything like that ever again. I mean, Roger, me and you were walking around Middletown, and I was walking around all of the
yeah,
city of Harrisburg playing
Yeah.
Pokemon Go.
I would be going around. I'd be on City Island all
Right.
the time. Just
Anywhere you went, if you're walking around and you had your phone out, they were like, "You're playing Pokemon Go. What team are you?" Like it was always that was the first
every
line.
time. Every time.
Shit was about to go down all the time, every time.
Like imagine if you
100%.
had trainer battles at that point when everybody
I was
was
just gonna say
playing.
that. If you had trainer battles back when it first came out, man, fist fights everywhere.
It would have been nuts.
100%.
We would have been throwing down right there with our Pokemon, right on the spot.
Absolutely.
Oh, your team Optic or not Optic, Jesus, Mystic or any of them. It's just like holy fuck. Like you could have just thrown down right then and there. Now it's like, oh, you want to team up and go take down this 4-star? No, like I want to fight you. That's what Pokemon was about.
I think they missed the mark a little bit, but they were a huge worldwide success, and they still are.
Yeah,
But I don't
feel
think
like they missed the
Monster
mark
Hunter
where
is
we
the
wanted-
game.
I feel like they missed the mark where we wanted them to hit the mark, but they
Mhm.
hit the mark on everything else. And I just don't know if Monster Hunter now is really gonna do what the
Yeah,
players
right.
I'm saying.
want.
Because I don't think Monster Hunter is as huge of an IP. Obviously, it's not compared to Pokemon. But over here in the states, Monster Hunter is relatively new in the gaming industry over here at least stateside. And in all the other countries, I think Monster Hunter will do really well. So maybe we'll see this really be successful. But only time will tell. And so, Scott, if you want to end out our gaming news here with what's going on with Diablo 4?
Just nothing but good things,
Mm.
honestly. So they've officially gone gold, and for anybody who doesn't get disc games anymore, uh, that really doesn't
I
mean
have a
much.
lot.
Back in the day, it meant a lot. That meant
Yeah.
you had a game that was ready to release on disc. Didn't need a day one update like 99.99% of the games now. It was ready to ship, ready to play with nothing else. The man you could get the disc, you could play the game, the whole fucking game without any issues. So they've gone gold, which is great. I mean, there's still a lot of kickback about no overlay map, things like that, but it's how they wanted it to be, and it functions perfectly. Great for them. That's amazing, especially in this digital age where people are just putting shit out, giving you your day one patch updates. But to make sure that they are 100% good to go, we are getting Server Slam 2023. What that means is I had to announce it that way. There's
Yeah.
no other way to announce it. So what it is, it's going to be a stress test on these servers for Diablo 4. So this is going to go May 12th to the 14th, where anybody and everybody can get on, whether you've pre-purchased, whether you're a new person who's never played the game before. Oh, kitty! Whether anything like that, you can get on. You can play this game. You can get some rewards for being on the game during that time. These are certain titles, certain mounts, things like that. This is gonna be an initial casualty title. That's earned by reaching Kiavashad with one character. You get the early Voyager title. That's earned by reaching level 20 on one character. You get the Beta Wolfpack cosmetic, which is earned by reaching level 20 on a character, and you get the new, only for Server Slam, Cry of Ashava Mount Trophy, and that is earned by defeating Ashava with one level 20 character. So lots of things to be going around. You have 12th, 13th, 14th, 3 days to hit level 20 and kill Ashava to get all of that stuff. But they're doing one final test. It's your one final chance to get in there, really go after it, find out what you like. I think so far the playable classes are going to be Druid, Necromancer, Rogue, and Barbarian. I think Sorcerer. I'm not 100% certain on that. So get in there, play your game, let everyone get in, test their servers. It's a stress test. Everyone get in, have fun, do everything all the time. See what the hell their servers can handle.
All I know
That's
is
what we're doing.
there is going to be a massive day one update because these guys actually listen to community feedback unlike their other game for over at Activision with Call of Duty. Here's a link to all of the updates, and my God, is it a lot! And they're really just reworking everything, and they're taking all of the feedback that the community has given back from the betas and basically just retune the entire game. And
Well, yeah.
that's really awesome to see that they're actually listening to the community,
Well,
and that's really awesome to see.
not so when I said patch one, when I said day one update
Hmm.
earlier, I meant to make it playable. We're thinking
Yeah.
of like
Yeah,
No, no, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Cyberpunk, like
I
that.
just
The
wanted to
game was
This
highlight.
too broken.
this
Yeah.
is this is all things to make it better based off of player feedback, like you had said, which is
Yeah.
and they're doing that a lot of people have not done, Vic, which is listening to their players.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say one last thing before we jump to the gaming leaks and rumors is that like yeah, the what Vic's getting at though and you're getting at, I think the best way to say is like this is them showing that they learned their mistakes from Diablo 3. Diablo 3 was a game they didn't care about player feedback where we watched Path of Exile for example eclipse them. Path of Exile literally destroyed them for years when Diablo 3 came out because they didn't listen to players. They didn't offer those extra things and Path of Exile did and they need to recapture their fan base that has since left. Their fan base is like, "Hey, I'm you fucked me on Diablo 3. Why do I need to
Hmm.
pay $120 for a complete game when I can just pay 0 and play Path of Exile?"
Straight up,
Yeah.
So,
100%.
Yeah, it was crazy to see a lot of the stats released from the beta. There was 61.5 million hours played and over 29 billion monsters slain. Like that's fucking massive. And I think like there was like 4 million people reached the max level of the beta, like level 20. I think it was to get
So
that
many
dog
people.
backpack or whatever how you get
Yeah.
the wolf pack. So that was pretty awesome to see. And like they didn't release the full numbers of actually how many people played this, but I think this game's going to be really massive here in the summertime.
Oh, it's gonna be huge. Yeah, it's gonna be absolutely massive. The fact that they come out with gold, something already playable, they're already pushing a day one update that's gonna listen
It's
to the
ready
players,
now.
add
Awesome.
add some nice to haves that people liked. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge.
And interesting enough, I just recently played through Diablo and beat it with Roger, Disney, and our friend Bruno, Diablo 3, and then this will be awesome to be able to hop in. And honestly, hopefully this comes to Game Pass. Honestly, I mean, right now it's not official to come to Game Pass, but I think this would be a perfect game to add to that collection and kind of go from there. But enough of Diablo 4. Let's move on to our leaks and rumors.
So we're
Hold
looking
on.
at Fortnite with
Hold on.
another collaboration.
Give it another go, Scott. What were you saying here with Fortnite?
So into our leaks and rumors, we're looking at Fortnite with yet another collaboration. One that came out of basically left field here. One that does still sit close with my heart, though. We're looking at a collaboration with Doctor Who.
Be pretty
So
interesting.
weird, a little bit to me, right, to see a Fortnite Doctor Who collaboration. But we're looking at the TARDIS and a bundle of themed modes. It's Fortnite's getting a Doctor Who crossover, but so really, BBC Studios announced that the arrival of Doctor Who's TARDIS in Fortnite today. Players can visit a specially designed island featuring the famous telephone booth. Players will be sent on a mission to help repair the TARDIS by collecting dynamorphic generator crystals from around the island. From the TARDIS hub, players can visit 4 other locations based on classic Doctor Who adventures. Players can hold box fights in their Kerblam zone while a creepy Kerblam man looks overhead. An escape map lets yeah, exactly right. An escape map lets players try to figure out their way out of the quad zone while dealing with PTing creatures leeching off the ship's energy. A rumble mode map lets players pick either Time Lords or Daleks to fight for in a classic death match, which is going to be super interesting. And finally, there is a Doctor Who museum world with recreations of the Doctor's favorite enemies, including the Weeping Angels. Which, if anybody who's watched Doctor Who, the Weeping Angels are terrifying. I'm not playing that. Not gonna happen.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
no, it's still a really weird collaboration.
Adds to that multiverse,
not
though.
not against it though. As a huge Doctor Who fan, I'm here for it. I don't know about you guys. If you guys have seen Doctor Who, Roger, I already assume you have. But like Matt Smith is my doctor, and the Weeping Angels episodes that have happened with him were just the worst. Oh my
Right.
god. So I'm anxious to see how that goes. That's a really interesting collaboration. Good on both of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, to
What's
bring some Doctor Who into the Western a little bit, even though it was already here
yeah,
thousands of
for
times.
sure.
So
So,
yeah,
moving on here to our next leak here. What's going on here, Roger?
So, Armored Core 6, we finally got official key art for the game from the Microsoft Store. So, we're getting close. Armored Core is right around the corner, and
You think this
I'm
gets
excited,
shadow
dude.
dropped in the summer event, like one of the summer events that we see?
I don't think it gets shadow dropped, but
It's
I
gonna
think
happen on
we get a
April
date
28th.
that's like they're gonna go into one of the summer game events and they'll be like, next week, Armored Core, and we'll be like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would break the internet though if they're like, "Hey guys, Armored Core, it's out now.
yeah.
Go play."
By the way, did you download Armor Core yet? Because
Yeah.
it happened last night at midnight.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. And then just to round out our leaks and rumors with Xbox Tango GameWorks, they're rumored to be working on a JRPG. So I'm really curious to see how that goes. They're coming off the high success with Hi-Fi Rush and obviously Ghostwire Tokyo recently, and then their previous games Evil Within. So to see a JRPG from them kind of makes sense, but it'll be a different take on with their game. So definitely eager to see how that comes to fruition here. But we want to thank everyone who did check us out live today here on Twitch, and anyone who does check us out later on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. But where can the community find you at, Roger?
Hey, you can find me at the same place as always, twitch.tv, lunatic_oblivion.
And what about you, Scott?
You can always find me on twitch.tv/Scobie1. If you want to get a hold of me on Discord, play some games, talk, and chat, you can hit me at Scobie1. My numbers are 9369. Same goes for Battle.net if you want to get together, play a few rounds of Warzone. You can get a hold of me on Scobie1. My numbers are 11780. Or if you just want to chat, kind of see how my personal life goes, anything like that, you can get a hold of me on Instagram. My Instagram is Scobie1. What about you, Vic?
And I'm over at Twitch at twitch.tv/Mr. Never Chillin' for any streams. Twitter is at Mr. Never Chillin' _ Xbox is X Never Space Chillin'. So if you want to game party up, hit me up on there. And Facebook is Vic Brubacher for any questions, concerns, or even if you want to appear here on the show. But we want to thank everyone again. But until next time, peace.
Press start podcast.